You're looking at the most aggressive capitalist in Colorado. Eric Cartman isn't just a child. He's a financial anomaly. We conducted an audit of his entire criminal career. The result? From an organized crime to the music industry, this fourth grader generated over $20 million in revenue. So how did he do it, and where did all the money go? Let's look at the numbers. Chapter 1: The Tooth Fairy Racket. It all started in Season 4 with the secondary dental market. Cartman discovers that the Tooth Fairy creates an artificial floor price of $2 per tooth. He immediately sets up a classic arbitrage scheme. Arbitrage is when you buy a product in one market at a low price and sell it in another market at a much higher price. Cartman's strategy was simple. 1. Acquire inventory from unprivileged kids who don't know the market value. 2. Monetize that inventory under the pillows of rich kids in suburbs. It was a massive wealth transfer operation. And if we look at the financials, in the first week alone, the squad generated enough liquid cash to purchase a Sega Dreamcast console.
Oh gosh, I didn't think it'd be so fat.
In the year 2000, that was a serious asset. They projected weekly revenues of $2,000, completely tax-free. But the Cartman ignored a key business risk: market saturation. He unknowingly entered a territory controlled by a local crime boss named Loogie. And Loogie didn't want to compete. He wanted to regulate. That this wasn't a business failure, it was a hostile takeover. Loogie threatened to physically dismantle their team, literally break every bone in their body, unless they cut him in. Cartman realized that in organized crime, the house always wins. They handed over the business just to survive, and their profit margin went zero. Okay, let's move forward to the chapter 2, Cartman Land. Small scams are fine, but in Season 5, Cartman received a legitimate inheritance check for exactly $1 million. Most people would invest in, I don't know, S&P 500, but Cartman bought a distressed asset, the North Park Funland. He rebranded it into Cartman Land. Here we see a psychological experiment. He implemented a strategy of total exclusivity. He ran a TV commercials telling people, you can't come here, this is mine. If we look at economics, in standard business, this would be a suicide. But Cartman accidentally triggered a hidden market effect. By restricting the supply to absolute zero, the demand skyrocketed. The public became obsessed with getting in, simply because they were told they couldn't. It became the most desirable location in Colorado. But running a theme park requires operating capital. Cartman spent his entire fortune on buying the park. He forgot about overhead costs, security guards, ride maintenance, and electricity. To pay the bills, he was forced to open the gates, but the park became a goldmine, selling 1,000 tickets a day. So how did he lose the $1 million? 2 words: fiscal irresponsibility. First, the IRS. Cartman failed to declare the $1 million gift, so the government seized $500,000 back in taxes. Second, liability. Kenny McCormick died on one of the rides. Kenny's parents sued Cartman for a wrongful death. The judge awarded them the remaining $500,000. The government took the left hand and the lawyers took the right hand. Cartman was back to square one. Okay, let's move forward to chapter 3, the Athletic Association. After the IRS incident, Cartman learned to operate in a gray area. In Season 15, he founded the Athletic Association. He identified a legal loophole in an American university system. He realized that the major colleges make billions of student athletes without paying them a salary. Cartman decided to replicate this model. He recruited dependent infants to play full contract basketball. His labor cost was zero. His profit margin, 100%. If you look at the financials, this was his peak liquidity. We see offices overflowing with stacks of cash. Cartman is literally bathing in a hot tub filled with KFC gravy. Conservatively, that's thousands of dollars in liquid assets sitting in a room. So basically Cartman was rich, but he wanted even more. So he went to sell the league to EA Sports, a multi-billion-dollar corporation. He executed a massive exit payout, but the CEO, Peter Moore, turned the tables. He told Cartman basically to go himself. Since Cartman's employees were technically students of the game, EA Sports argued that they don't have to pay for the rights. They simply took the concept, they made the game, they kept the profit, and they gave Cartman absolutely nothing. Why? Because according to the very rules of Cartman, student athletes cannot be paid. Cartman tried to hustle the corporate system, but the corporate system hustled him. So the current net worth is still $0. Okay, let's move forward to the chapter 4. Faith plus 1. Finally, the biggest financial tragedy. Faith plus 1. Cartman identified that Christian rock is very easy to monetize. His market research was simple. Christians will buy anything if you just mention Jesus. His strategy? Take generic love songs and replace the words such as baby with Jesus. Easy, right? If we look at the finances, the execution was flawless. The album went Murph. In the Christian music industry, Murph is equivalent of a platinum record. That means over 1 million copies were sold. 1 million copies times $15 per CD, that is $15 million in a gross revenue. This was it. He was the richest kid in South Park, probably the richest kid in America. He had the money and all the fame. But Eric Cartman has one fatal flaw that destroys every business he touches. His ego. He didn't start the band to get rich, he started it for one petty reason: to win a $10 bet against Kyle. He spent the entire $15 million organizing a lavish award ceremony. He hired pyrotechnics, security, and a massive stage just to invite Kyle and insult him. But the plan backfired. Since he only received a Murph album and not a platinum one, technically, he lost the bet. He blew $15 million, destroyed his band, alienated his fanbase, and in the end, he had to pay Kyle $10. So basically, his current net worth is minus $10. Okay, let's move to the verdict. Eric Cartman generated over $20 million, but his bank account is empty. Why? Because Eric Cartman is not motivated by profit. He's motivated by spite. He spends millions just to prove his point. He ignores taxes, he ignores the fine print. He's a perfect CEO until the moment his ego gets involved. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and see you next time.